Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Get Rich 101. I'm your host. I am Sekou Wright. I am an author, amongst other things, but right now we're talking about me being an author. My authorship is I'm embellishing? No. I'll just say that my authorship, I'm currently directing towards this book, right? And that book is Hack Your Pain Now. Hack Your Pain Now. I was supposed to send that to someone. Yeah, I have a group that meets on Thursdays, and we get together and we talk about our our the things that have happened to us and things that haven't happened to us. And I mentioned the book to them yesterday, and I went to send it. So that's me reminding myself that I need to send that book to someone. All right, so that said, thanks to New Thought Media Network for being here, for letting me host my show, for letting me continue making my show. And that said, I know you're wondering why you probably are wondering, but I'm seated to the left and in front of this pillow because the cat, the cat's right here. The cat's right here and making up so much space. So let me show you the picture of the cat because I've been getting a picture. I've been getting the idea of taking the picture right before the show. Let me see if I can get the photo. Let's see. Yeah, here's the photo. Oh, here's a new window. I couldn't get this straight because I was doing Reverend Mel's thing with time today. And today, I have to share this with you too. Let me show you the cat, and then I'll share it with you. So here's a cat sitting right here, right here. And so that's a funny thing. And right in the middle of the sofa, made me get over. All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, I was sure that I wasn't going to make my run. And Fee was like, well, let's go. And without any question, I was like, go, like, it's after 9 o'clock. I can't go now. And then I was like, you know what? I forget the one that I used. I used time is on my side. That's what I used. Time is on my side. And I kept thinking it. Time is on my side. Time is on my side. I ran out there and I got back in here just in time. I got here at 9:30 and I didn't even set the show up. So I got in here, set the show up, got my hoodie on, everything within the time. So thanks, Reverend Mel, and thank you for being here. And matter of fact, let me bring you on to talk about this. Let's bring you on to talk about this. All right, where's my drum roll? Here we go. Hey, Reverend Mel.
Hey, Sekou Rice. How you doing?
Did you hear me talk about you?
Yes.
Yeah, because I was thinking
The
about
time fast. I like that. Time is on my side.
Time is on my side. That's all I kept thinking. Time is on my side.
Yes,
Time is on my
and
side.
it is.
Yes. We made it. All right.
That is so awesome.
I'm gonna change the background to so make us feel like we got money.
Yes.
We got money.
Voila. And I gotta change my glasses. I don't know what's going on with those glasses. This is better. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So we got. Oh, I forgot my hoodie. Oh, so now that you're on, let's talk about the hoodie. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
About it, right. The hoodie. Get my drawstrings out the way. The Hero Hoodie Part 3. Part 3 because I came back from the stroke and I tried to make some hoodie, but I was like, I put ice on it, like the melting, and people were like, "What's that mean?" And I was like, "I don't know what that means."
But I thought that was the diamond.
The diamond, yeah, diamond.
Yeah, I didn't think it was ice, so I thought the diamond was like representing, like abundance and wealth.
Well, I'm glad that came through for you. Because some people like, what is it? what is the melting ice? It was a diamond, but it was melting like ice on the corner of the.
Yes.
And I didn't really know how to articulate what I was trying to say. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, it means like my body is melting, but not quite. And I was like, yeah, that was part two. Part two was, something didn't go anywhere. A couple of people bought one, but not really.
Yeah.
Also, I couldn't figure out how to ship the the hoodies. I couldn't figure out how to ship the hoodies to the people who ordered them. So I was like, because these guys have got to understand that even though this computer was there for me, I couldn't figure out how to move things around. Things
Yeah.
I've been moving around for years.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, this TV, this laptop, I couldn't figure out how to get it on.
Wow.
I could not get it on. And so I would get up in the mornings when I finally got home to my mom's house. I would get up in the mornings, I would stare at it. I would just stare at it like this. And it was the black screen and asking for a password. And I was like, I don't know. So I took this computer to the Apple store. Huge ordeal. Me going to the getting out, getting a Uber, texting an Uber to the thing. And I got out there and went out and walking with one arm. And then they said the iPhone 5 or whatever it was just launched. And the line was huge. Throngs of people. And they were like, I was like, no. No. And they were like, yeah. You want to get in line? I was like, no. And I took the Uber home. That was a funny story. So it took forever
to get it. So if people don't know the way why this was challenging for Sekou was because he had a stroke.
Yes.
A serious stroke.
A double stroke, yes.
July 14th, 2022. And I think the hoodie that you just created, like, it is so fire. It is so fire, that hoodie. So people can't see it. Like, sit back. Yeah. So because you could easily explain what that represents for you, right?
Yes, I can. So what encircles the O, the new O, is the ribbon for stroke awareness. And I just couldn't figure out how to represent my having a stroke, and I couldn't even think of a ribbon. And I used to think of ribbons all the time because I was always giving away money to the people I made bracelets for. Mm-hmm. So I was doing it all the time, but I could not think of it. And then when I finally thought of it, I was like, oh yeah. And I got P-King's designer. P-King let me use her designer. And I found this, and I had to make some smooth moves, and it looks great to me now.
It looks great.
And the stroke is part of me being a hero.
Yes.
It's part of it. Because I survived. I survived twice because, for people that don't know, that stroke was supposed to be lethal. Yeah. That stroke was supposed to be lethal. And I walked away.
Yes.
That says a lot.
Yes. And I'm glad you added the exclamation point.
Yes. Yes. Because I was trying to kind of feeling it. I was like, I'm feeling it because I need to yell this. I need to yell it. Hero. I need to yell it. And the crown is for people who want to. Well, this was from the original
hoodie.
The original hoodie. People who contribute are reaching towards the goal of their life, the crown in their life. They're reaching for the goodness of their life. And so now it's not just other people, not just for the unhoused, but also for me too. Yes. Also for me too, because I need it.
Yes, it is so awesome. So folks can buy this hoodie now, right?
Folks can buy this hoodie now. Right in time for May, which you pointed out. That is so great. That's so great. and I've been getting ready to. I've been hosting. I'm so excited I can't talk. Can't talk. So I'm very excited to be promoting this hoodie for the
Yeah.
month of May. Very
Yes.
excited. Very excited.
So
Yeah.
May is Stroke Awareness Month.
Yes, because
People get to buy this hoodie that is such a powerful representation
yes.
of surviving, and not only surviving, but say, cool, you are thriving after having a stroke.
People keep saying that to me. People keep saying that, and I know you're gonna fight. I know you're gonna fight. But to me, it does not feel that way. To me, I feel like I'm just barely holding on. I'm just barely holding on, right? That's how I feel. And then people are like, "Whoa, haven't you run 400 and some odd days? 489 days as of today." But yes, I have. But that's now my minimum. That's now my minimum. That's not me going above and beyond. That's my minimum, right?
Yes. And
Yes,
and 4
yeah,
months after having a stroke that most people died from, you
yes,
ran a marathon. 4
yes,
months later, and did it again the following year.
yes,
So yes, to
yeah.
the outside person,
I know.
it is inspiring.
I appreciate that. I
It is
appreciate that.
inspiring
And
for sure.
let me say something, because for me this month is going to be about telling stories. Like I just told you guys a story about me trying to get into my laptop and not being able to do it. Like that was a serious problem. So this was interesting. It took me through going through 3 different hospitals and finally getting into physical therapy, and she's just reading off everything, name, Sekou, age, da 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 da. And she said, "Okay, and you were here for a stroke," and I was like, "What? What?" And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "I was here for what?" And my mom was sitting right next to me, and she got quiet. I'm looking at her. I'm looking at and everyone was like, yeah,
You
a
didn't know?
stroke. I did not know. I did not know. No one had spoken to me what happened, right?
Yeah.
And I had to suffer through. Once I understood that something had happened, I had to suffer through the not the lack of knowledge because I
Yeah.
didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
That was the first time someone said you have a stroke, and I was like, what? And so I say that because sometimes you got to not let somebody have all the information.
Mm.
Sometimes you got to not let them have all the information because the things that I started doing in my mind
Mm.
right then, I was already like, well, no, I've already done this before. I've already started walking. I've
Right.
already started talking. I've already started running. I've already, all these things to fight back to where I started to go to where I was having a stroke.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'd known, I might have started shrinking immediately.
Mm. Mm.
Started shrinking immediately. And so I thank my mom and I thank for everyone who kept the information away from me. I share.
Wow. So your mother knew.
Yeah,
'Cause mothers know. Mothers know.
yeah, yeah,
Mothers be
yeah,
knowing.
yeah. And she's a psychologist too, so she
Yeah.
knew her things. Because I was like, what? And then I was like, all right, just calm down and continue with the program of signing up for the physical therapy. And I was like, all right, let's go. Definitely give me the physical therapy now, right now.
Yes. Wow. So I'm excited for this month for you and for everybody that gets exposure to
I
Get
say,
Rich 101 and the stories, because folks may not know that I did not have a stroke. So if you're wondering, well, why is Red Melissa on Stroke Awareness Month? So it's not just the people who actually had the stroke, it's also their loved ones, because it impacts everything, right?
yes,
So my husband, Marco, he had a stroke um January 2021. I want to say I'm not sure of the date anymore, but it definitely was January 2021. And it changes everything. A stroke changes any major life event, positive or other than, changes everything. It just does. And Sekou and I have known each other for a very long time. So he was he knew because I shared with him when Marco had the stroke, and so he's heard a lot of what happened, and even went to see Marco. Do you remember going to see Marco?
Yeah, I remember now. I didn't remember at first, but now I remember going up and seeing Marco. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Marco was at Burke um, rehab after he was in the hospital.
Sorry, bro. Let me just add this. The reason that your husband's stroke affected me way back when was because he was small. He was slim like me.
Yes.
And I was like, what? It can affect him? Then I need to do something for myself. I did not do anything, but I thought I should do something.
Yeah. Marco is slim. If you looked at Marco, you would think he was very healthy.
Yes.
He's always been, as long as I've known him, he's been very slim. But there's other factors like you could be unhealthy slim.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You could be
Maybe.
unhealthy slim, high
Yeah.
blood pressure,
Yeah.
high cholesterol, stress.
Hmm.
Stress is like a big factor.
Okay,
And
let me interject right here too, because I had been doctors have been telling me that I was high stress. No, I had
hypertension. Mm-hmm.
high blood pressure, and I needed to take some pills, and I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't do it because I thought, who are they talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that. So go
Mm-hmm.
ahead.
Same thing with Marco.
Yeah.
His pressure was high, and what they told him, the doctor told him, because Marco said he'll get it down himself, like he'll make some
Right.
lifestyle changes and
Right.
he'll get it down.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And to check back in 6 months. And he didn't make the lifestyle changes in a consistent way. And he didn't check back in 6 months. And then soon thereafter, he had a stroke. And I remember it as if it was yesterday still, because so many things happened that day out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
So it was a Sunday. I was getting ready for service. And the girls, we have twin girls, they were 4 years old at the time. And Marco has his space in the basement. And he has his he does his radio show in the basement. He runs his internet radio program, Rhythm and Soul radio in the basement. So he's often in the basement. And the girls never go in the basement. Like it was off if they could not go, and they knew they couldn't go, so they never went down the basement. And so on this particular Sunday, Aria is sitting on the steps of the basement and she's yelling for Marco. And I'm thinking to myself, why isn't he answering her? Right? And why is she sitting on the stairs? Because she never does this. So I go and I'm like, why are you sitting here? And she's like, she wants daddy. And so I yell for him and he doesn't answer. I go downstairs. He's not there. He's not in the basement. I said, Aria, he's not in the basement. He must be upstairs. So I'm still downstairs, doing stuff. And she yells for him upstairs and he doesn't answer. So I'm thinking, I'm not really thinking anything of this, really. And so I go upstairs and he is on the floor in the bathroom. And I look at him. Immediately I knew he was having a stroke because his face was distorted. One side of his face was distorted and he was trying to speak and nothing that he said made sense. And in that moment, a sense of calm came over me.
Calm. That's great.
Calm. And I said, Marco, you are having a stroke. And then
Mhm.
I walked away, got on the phone, called 911 and told them my husband is having a stroke. And they started asking me questions and I was answering the questions and I kept saying to them after I answered each question, my husband is having a stroke because I
Mm,
knew that's what it was.
mm,
So they said they'll get someone here as soon as possible. I called my neighbors to come get the girls because I didn't want the girls to see their father being carried out
mm.
on a stretcher. I didn't want them to have that core memory, you know? So my neighbor came over. She had the girls in the kitchen, and they didn't know anything had happened yet. And the next call I made was not to Marco's parents who live in North Carolina. The next call I made was to my prayer partner, Deborah.
Mm.
And the ambulance came. I'm in the ambulance with him. I'm on the phone with Deborah, and we are just praying, just praying. And I still feel very calm. We get to the hospital close by, and it was like it was almost like having an out of body experience because I kept like just I was watching everything, but I couldn't do anything, and
Yeah.
Marco couldn't move,
Yeah.
and he couldn't his speech started coming back a little bit,
Really.
and um they were going to go and run some tests and stuff, and they told me that they had called for the neurologist to come. And I'm laughing because the neurologist was when he finally came, he was this really, really old guy.
Okay.
He looked like he just came from the gym because he had.
Oh wow.
And he's talking to me, and there's buzzing coming from him, this
Buzzing.
low buzz. And I'm
Okay.
like, what is that? It was so distracting. I was like, what is that buzzing sound coming from you? And he said, oh, it must be my hearing aids. And he goes through this whole story about his hearing aids must have gotten wet while he was at the gym. I mean, a whole story about it.
Wow.
And a part of me is like getting upset because he's talking to me about the gym and his hearing
Right.
aids.
Right.
And then another part of me is like, talk to him about the gym.
Hmm.
And so I start talking to him about the gym. Now my husband's laying there,
Yeah.
just had a stroke, all of the things, and
Right.
I start talking to the doctor about the gym. And I'm like, "So
Wow.
what's your favorite thing to do?" And he's telling me it's the treadmill. I said, "Oh, I like the elliptical." And we're having this whole conversation
Right.
about the gym.
Right.
He
Wow.
stops, he looks at me, and he says, "Mrs. Nobles, we're going to get your husband out of here and get him to Westchester Medical Center where he'll
Mm.
get better care." The
Yes.
neurologist
Neurologist. All
is
right.
saying that to me,
Wow. That's incredible.
right? The importance, like your mother knew instinctively, intuitively not to tell you,
Yeah.
and she listened,
Yep.
right? It was like it was such in reflection now, it was such a point of going within and listening and then
Yeah.
following that direction,
Right.
that divine guidance.
Yeah.
And the fact that Aria, we're so connected, it just demonstrated our oneness because she didn't know, but she knew something was wrong
Yeah.
because she displayed behavior that she never displayed before.
Right.
That alerted me because I was, I'm in my own little world doing my
Yeah.
thing, getting ready for service.
Right.
Because she was reacting so out of the ordinary, it made me stop and pay attention,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
because we know with a stroke, acting fast is imperative.
Yes. I know that now. I know that now.
You have a very, very small window.
Yes.
And so, although Marco, it's been since 2020, 2011, and he's well, he's still impacted by the stroke on his left side. So he doesn't have use of his left arm. But I tell you, my husband is so resilient and so amazing.
Mm.
He still does everything as if he had
Yeah.
as if
Yeah.
he had use of both arms.
Yeah. I remember when I first came back, you guys picked me up from the airport, and I was riding with him, riding shotgun. I was riding shotgun with him, and he was driving, and I was like, I was so scared. I was so scared. I was like, because I wasn't used to New York. Like in that brief period of amnesia, I'd forgotten what New York was like, what driving in New York was like, and I was like, and he's just rolling, talking, beep beep, and I was like, wow, he is doing it. He is doing it. Yeah.
Yes, he drives.
Yeah.
He does most of the cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, he still he uses the laptop. He does all the things,
Yeah.
and without complaint to
Yeah.
me. Without complaint to me. Um, I know it's challenging still. I know it's challenging still, but his perspective about it, I think, is very similar to yours, Sekou.
Yeah.
Like, I can do this. I need to move forward. I need to move forward.
Yeah. Ashe.
So yeah,
Ashe.
ashe, ashe,
Yeah.
ashe. So
Yeah.
it's been that stroke forever shifted the dynamics of our relationship. And
Yes.
for a very long time, I was just terrified
Mm.
that he was going to die. And
Mm.
I think I shared with you recently that I would, and I still do it sometimes now. I would just be in the bed, like watching him, to make sure he's breathing,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
because I was so afraid that
Yeah.
that something was going to happen.
Yeah.
So it does. We could have a part two talking about the impacts of these type of life altering events, the impact it
Yeah.
has on relationships.
Yeah. And we should, because when I say it changes everything, it changes everything. People don't understand it. People think, oh, it means one or two things, one or two big things. No, it changes everything about me.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah,
Like there isn't a thing that I do the same. From walking, from using the restroom, from brushing my teeth, from everything is different. And sometimes that gets heavy.
yeah,
That gets heavy because you want to do something that you've been doing its way forever, for all these years. You can't do it that way anymore.
yeah,
It gets heavy. It gets
yeah.
heavy. And it
And
affects
as the
me.
partner,
Yeah, it
yeah,
affects
and
me.
as the partner, like sometimes I forget that
Yes.
because he's doing all these things.
Right.
And I'll tell like a really, really quick
Yeah.
story. So I used to get really pissed off because he insists on doing all these things.
Right.
It's important to him. So he washes the dishes and he only has use of one arm, one hand. You try washing dishes with one hand.
Yeah.
It ain't an easy thing to
It's
do,
not easy. It's
right?
not easy.
And so he had washed the dishes and I was putting the dishes away the next day and all of the silverware was dirty. And I was like, don't he see that this is dirty? Right? It never dawned on me
Mm.
how difficult it would be
Yes.
to wash a fork.
Yes. Yes. And he's in there trying.
And he's
He's in
trying.
there trying, doing
And
all
I'm
the
getting
dishes.
pissed off.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You guys got to take into consideration that everything we do is different. Everything. Yeah. You've got to take it into consideration. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that could be a part two. And I know Marco's going to be on your show and he could
Yes.
share he'll share his perspective about all of this. I can only
Yeah.
share from my perspective.
Yeah. Because I just had him on. Yeah. I just asked him to come on. He's coming on. So yeah, let's do it because
Yes.
yeah, we've got to exfoliate these stories, and talk about the things that I don't talk about, like
Yes.
the fact that everything is changed. Everything has
Yes.
changed.
And that denial point. I don't know if you had a denial point, but Marco had a denial point because he's in ICU. He's on the phone talking about an event. And I'm like, what is happening? Right. I had to take the phone from him and go, who is
Wow.
this? He's not going to be at any event. He's in the hospital. He had a
Wow.
stroke.
Wow.
So that factor, there's so much. The's just so much. So I'm
So
glad
much.
we have a whole month to explore all
A
of this.
whole month to keep talking about it. Ashe. So, folks, we
Ashe.
ran a little bit long today, but we needed it. We needed it because it is, as you see, there are so many points to the story. And actually, I'm going to throw this out to you. I want you to guess how I got into my computer. I want you to guess how I got into my computer, because I told you what happened.
Yeah.
With the new iPhone was out. It was the day that I went to the iPhone store, and I got my computer. I got into my computer. So tell me how I got into my computer. So that's what I said.
I have no idea,
Right.
Sekou. No.
Yeah. So you too, Mel. You too. All
All
right,
right.
folks. We'll see you next time. We'll see you next time.
Yes.
And remember
Yes.
that now is better than perfect.
Now is better than perfect.
Ashe. I'll see you later.
Ashe.